I guess so. So who's up there? I don't even see the bass. Oh, there it is. Okay. It sounded okay to me, so I'm guessing they've already done it, or just be right. I don't know. I don't know.
Take this song kind of slow. It's a short little song, and my verbal part was not rehearsed. So the accompanist are probably a little thrown off right now by that. But I just wanted to say good morning to everyone. The sun is out, and we're going to have a good day today. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that's had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Oh yes, I can make it now, the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, there's nothing but blue skies. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day.
Thank you so much, guys. Geraldine and Cindy and Mel. If you all would stand and join me as you're willing and able on hymn number 38, Morning Has Broken. Sorry.
Good morning. Happy Easter, happy Passover, happy spring. I love when it all aligns together like that. My name is Virginia McLean, and I serve on the Board of Trustees of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Spartanburg. It is my delight to welcome you all this morning, whether you are here in person or virtually. This is a welcoming congregation where everyone is welcome just as we are. There are many important announcements on the mini sheets entitled Connect at the back of your bulletin this morning. Please open and look through them and find how you can be a part of this amazing congregation. A Path to Membership class will be held after the service next Sunday, April 16th. All are welcome, and please sign up so that we can plan for lunch. Also next Sunday, please come from 1:30 to 3:30 for the Carver Middle School Art Exhibition. In our sanctuary, an artist reception in the Fellowship Hall. We all welcome members of the South Converse neighborhood into our church for the celebration, so please come and show how much we care about our community. We will be offering our annual summer day camp, Journey for the Earth, again this year. The week is July 24th through the 28th, and this is for rising 1st through 5th grades. And space is limited, so see Sybil if you are interested. Parents and children should meet in the RE foyer after the service for some brief instructions before our egg hunt begins. Thank you for making this place a loving place and filled with kindness for all of us. I'm sorry I am distracted. There is an ant right here. So let me try that again. Thank you all for making this a place of love and kindness for every one of us.
Good morning. I'm Paula Swaney, and I am happy to be serving as your worship associate this morning. Our reading for the chalice lighting this morning is by Kim Stanley Robinson. Look at the pattern this seashell makes. There is a constant pressure pushing towards pattern, a tendency in matter to evolve into ever more complex forms. It's a kind of pattern gravity, a holy greening power we call Viriditas, and it is the driving force in the cosmos. Life, you see. Thank you. Over the years, our congregation has experienced many joys and faced many concerns. As a congregation, we symbolically share these moments by placing stones or shells in our rippling bowl. We invite you to come forward, if you wish, and place a stone or a shell in the water. The placement of the stones and shells represents the release of joys and concerns into the community. The ripples it creates remind us that joys once shared ripple out and are multiplied, and sorrows shared ripple out and are diminished. You may now come forward and place a stone or shell in the water, and I will place one of each for those who are joining us virtually.
Skip ahead.
They're trying to. Looks like this is people want to sleep, so I guess that's what we're doing. They're setting up in here. Should be together.
I said, Julian, you are holy, you are holding my hand. And Julian, you are holy, you are holding my hand. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. said, Julian, do you not know about sorrow? Julian, do you not know about pain? I said, Julian, do you not know about hunger? And Julian, do you not know about shame? She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. I said, Julian, do you not know about loneliness? And Julian, do you not know about disease? I said, Julian, do you not know about cruelty? I said, Julian, it's too much, it's brought me to my knees. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. She said, no one does not know about sorrow, and no one does not know about pain. She said, no one does not know about hunger, and no one does not know about shame. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. She said, no one does not know about loneliness, and no one does not know about disease. She said, no one does not know about cruelty. She said, I know it's too much, it brought me to my knees, where I heard, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. She said, all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. She said, baby girl, do you not know about tenderness? And baby girl, do you not know about friends? She said, baby girl, do you not know about the Spirit? She said, baby girl, do you not know it's only love that never ends? And so all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well. And so all will be well, all will be well, all manner of things will be well.
Practical guidance on how we strive to live together, both in our church and in the greater community. These words, powerful when written, continue to gain power as this community manifests their meaning in its work. Let us join our voices and speak the truth of our covenant. Together we covenant to strive to become our better selves, to honor both the critical mind and the generous heart, to prove that diversity need not mean divisiveness, and to respond to systems of violence and oppression with the power of a love beyond belief. For the next few minutes, we'll take some time to greet each other personally. You may rise and move around, but it's fine to remain seated if you prefer it. And please remember, we all experience this time in different ways. Please check in as how each person would like to be greeted. And when the music begins, please return to your seat so that we can share in the next part of our service together. Let it begin.
They're just trying to keep things interesting. Hey, how's it going? Interestingly.
My phone hasn't blown up yet, has it?
No. How could I notice it?
Quite interesting.
Well, we skipped part of the covenant, and we skipped part of the order of church.
Oh, yeah. No, I was noticing that.
So I'm going to go ahead and invite all the children, youth, Easter bunnies, anybody else who would like to come forward for our story this morning. This is for all ages, and parents are welcome to come forward with your children if you choose to do that. That's fine. And if you can just make a circle here, that would be great. Great. Okay, I think that's everybody. So, our story this morning is about a little girl named Alice. And I know all of you can't see that back here, but I hope everybody here can. And Alice was a little girl that lived by the sea in a village that was kind of up the hillside over the ocean. And she lived there with her grandfather. And her grandfather was an artist. And so what he would do was he would create the mastheads, the decorative part of a lot of the ships that would be in the harbor. He would do that, and he was also a painter. And some days Alice got to be in his studio with him and help him with all of his artwork. In the evenings, she loved to sit with her grandfather, and he would tell her stories and some of his adventures that he'd been on in his life. And he would also tell her 3 things to remember as she got older. The first one was to travel to faraway places, meet new people, and see exotic different places in the world. The second was to come to the sea and to always live by the sea or some other place that she felt was home to her. And the third one was to always think of some way to make the world more beautiful. Well, Alice grew up, and she moved away from the ocean, and she moved to a big city, and she worked in a library. And people there started to call her Miss Rumphius. Her name was still Alice, but they called her Miss Rumphius. And she loved working in the library because she could read about all the exotic places in the world. She could learn about other people and all sorts of things. And she loved to help other people find those same kinds of adventure stories. One of Alice's favorite places to go where she lived was a big park. And even in the winter, if you can see up here, it's all cold and snowy. She would go in a place called a conservatory, which was really just a big greenhouse, and it was warm in there, and she could smell all the flowers, and it was where all the tropical plants would grow. And Alice started to think to herself, well, you know, maybe I need to do one of those things my grandfather talked about. Maybe I need to start traveling. So that's what she did. So she went to an exotic island, and she met lots of people there and lots of families. And when she was leaving that place, they shared stones that they had collected and seashells, kind of like we do in our rippling bowl. And they told each other that they would always remain in each other's hearts. And that was something really special to Miss Rumphius. So Miss Rumphius continued to travel, and she climbed tall mountains, and she rode on a camel through the desert, and she met all sorts of people and went all sorts of exotic places. But she was getting older, and she remembered the second thing that her grandfather told her. Do you remember what that was? It was to find a place by the sea. And so that's what she did, because she loved the ocean. And so she bought a little cottage on the hillside above the ocean. And she lived there, and she planted a garden, because she loved to garden. And one day in the spring, she looked out her window, and she realized that a lot of the flower seeds she had planted were starting to come up. And you can see them just a little bit right here. They're really tall flowers. They're about this tall. They're blue and purple and pink, and they're called lupines. And that was Miss Rumphius's favorite flower, and so she could see them outside her window. Well, Miss Rumphius was getting older, and there was a couple springs that went by, and she didn't get to work in her garden as much as she liked, but then one spring she was feeling better, and she went for a walk. And what do you think she found when she went on her walk? She found lupine flowers. And what had happened was the ones that were in her garden, the birds had helped to carry the seeds, and the wind had helped to carry the seeds, and then they planted themselves. And so there were lupine flowers everywhere. And suddenly Miss Rumphius knew the third thing she was going to do. She knew how to make the world a more beautiful place. So she went home, and she got out her seed catalogs, and she ordered 5 big bushels, like baskets this big, of lupine seeds. And so everywhere she went, she would take a handful of those seeds, and she would throw the seeds everywhere she went. And some people thought she was crazy, but I don't think so. I think she was doing just what her grandfather told her. And she was so excited about that. And then there were lupines that started growing everywhere in her village. You could see all through the hillsides everywhere. So Miss Rumphius was getting old, and she decided to do what her grandfather had done. And so she would gather the children of her village together in the evenings, and she would tell them stories about her adventures. And she would tell them the three things they needed to do in the world. One was to travel and meet new people. The second was to find a place that they really wanted to live, a place that they loved, and to settle down there. And what was the third? Make the world a more beautiful place. And so that's what a lot of the children did. And they would go out and they would plant flowers too. And that was one way that they would make the world a more beautiful place. Right? So I'm wondering, anybody here have an idea of how you can make the world a more beautiful place? Yes. What? How can you do that? Grow flowers like they did. Cool. More other grass and other kinds of plants, plant things in the world? Yeah. Yeah, and bring trash bag with you and pick up litter, because unfortunately some people still litter, and that doesn't make the world such a beautiful place when you see litter everywhere. Any other ideas? Yeah, Martha? You can influence other people to be nice, so people will be nice to each other, and that's a great way to make the world more beautiful. Any other ideas? All right. Well, I'm going to ask you guys to go back to your seats with your families, and then I will see you after the service.
Suddenly, extremely nervous. So you get to watch my hands shake and my knees vibrate while I'm trying to move. What a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see. I lost it. Sorry. What's the next chord? Yeah, I should let y'all sing it. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. Yes, I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. Thank you. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, wonderful world. Oh yeah. I'm so glad I got to hear all of you sing.
Join me in silence. Praise. Happy spring, happy Passover, happy Easter, happy Ramadan, happy continuation of your existence into the web of all existence, into infinitude. Happy gathering here together. It's so wonderful to see you all. Thank you for being here today. I don't know if you feel what I feel. with the resurgence of spring just since last night and the beauty of the world that is around us. The songs of the birds, the blossoming of the flowers, the ability to breathe air momentarily free of pollen, all that is so beautiful and wonderful. And the spirit that you have brought into the room today, the way that you have shared with each other and supported with each other, with all of us, the way the beauty of our interconnected world becomes manifest in our interconnectedness with each other, the way that we work together and care for each other and support each other. If there is a God, it seems to me that this must be what the presence of that God feels like. And if there is no God, I am very glad for a group of people that gather to create this feeling of interconnectedness and love in the world. It can feel something just beyond our words, but clear to touch, that changes our reality. Today I praise that within us and all around us. I give thanks for the beauty of this world and the beauty of our lives as part of it. Happy spring. Happy Passover. Happy Easter. Happy Ramadan. Happy shared existence. Of all the questions that I think are most important in our lives, the question that I find most compelling and difficult and repeated over and over again by myself and by the people around me is not what is the meaning of life. And it's not, is there a God? It's none of those vast metaphysical questions which are profound and beautiful and very important, and that shape our lives just by asking them and in our search for an answer to them. But those are not the questions that I find to be the most compelling and pressing. The question that I hear repeated over and over again inside of myself and all around me is just this: what am I supposed to do next? What do I do with my life? And not just the long-term goals of my life, but what do I do with the next step in my life? With the next dilemma that I face? I don't know about you, but I woke up this morning with a set of questions I had to answer before I ever made it into the door here. And only one of those was, what in the world am I going to say to those folks? What will I do with my life? Just over this last week, I've been away, some time with my family. And I have received messages, which is good. This is not a complaint. Messages pouring in by email and by text, some by phone call, of people at every age and stage of life wrestling with the question, what do I do? Some people in dire straits. Some people in medical crisis. Some people standing next to people in medical crisis. Some people trying to chart a path, an educational path or vocational path to find their future. But all of them asking this question, what do I do? Asking it with weight, with stress, with difficulty, because there's no guarantee of what the answer will be. And too much back history to think, maybe I won't choose what's best. And I'll have a whole other set of questions that I have to deal with. What do I do with my life? And I also was wrestling with this question. don't get scared and don't get too happy. Not either. But wrestling with this question myself this week. I had messed something up really bad trying to do the right thing. And I was trying to figure out, what do I do about this? And that question, it just circled and circled in my mind and in my heart. I was walking down a beach, beautiful, vast landscape, everything that we've heard described over and over again in songs and in readings this morning. And what we know in our own lives, the vast beauty of all creation laid out before me. And my head was turned down to the sand, focused on my problems. What would I do? What would I do? How would I make right the things that I had messed up, even with the best of intentions? How would I find a future for myself and for my family? And my daughter walked up to me, 12 years old. She gave me permission to tell this story, but not to say her name. She walked up to me and interrupted my thoughts. And she said, "Look, Dad." She said, "Look, Dad. Look how beautiful." And she just placed this in my hand and went off into the vast openness of creation, infinity flying before her feet. Look. A seashell is a strange object. It is born of a life force deep in a living being, a being responding to all of the pressures and stresses of a harsh environment in our world, a being whose life has evolved from thousands or millions of other lives before it, learning how to absorb through its life systems the chemicals, the substances, the vitality of its surrounding environment, and to incorporate that into its life to create a home for itself, a place of protection and well-being. And when that shell comes into our hands, the beauty and the symbolism, the palpable reality of that amazing life force of finding a way in the world, the creature who generated that is not there. That being of artistry who has brought that symbol of such beauty into the palm of our hand is gone, we know not where. So when we hold this symbol, this beautiful object, we are holding something that speaks to us of the tension and the strain, the paradox of life. And there's a promise there that in all of the tension and strain of our lives, all that is difficult, and the ultimate ending of our lives, our ultimate finitude, still something of great beauty may have been created. Something that endures beyond us may stay in this world, visible or not, to attest to the power and beauty of our own lives. But what made that seashell even more beautiful than all of that? Eons of evolution and the power of the life force was that my daughter placed it in my hand. And it awoke me from my loneliness, my isolation, and my anxiety. To remember that I am not alone. Today I praise friendship. Friendship that is that vital life force in our lives, that shows us the beauty of our lives and who we can be. When we tell the stories of this season, stories of spring and Passover and Easter and Ramadan, we fall quickly into arguments about whether or not they are true and whether or not they are to be believed. And that is not the point. One way to understand these stories is stories of people living in the stress and tension of life who are helped through by friendship. Story of Persephone, Kore, abducted into the underworld, abandoned by her friends and her family. But one friend advocates for her and builds a coalition of gods and goddesses to support her, to summon her out of death into life, and all creation sings praise through the abundance of life when Persephone emerges into the light. It's a story of friends calling one another to life. Moses standing alone in the desert, a murderer fleeing for his life, terrified of a task that he's given. And he says to whoever that divine being is, calling him to do the impossible thing, I can't do it. I forget all the chords. And his friends come around him and accompany him to face empire and empires of death, and to create a new people still thriving in the world today. The story of the life of Jesus of Nazareth is a story of people terrified by things they do not understand. Anybody who tells you you just need to believe something, tell them they don't understand the story they're talking about. Because nobody in the story understands what is going on. But they help each other through. Friends gather together in their distress and their danger. They gather around just a little bit of food and a little bit to drink. And they create a beloved community that we still seek to emulate today across all of our differences. Muhammad was a wanted man because the revelation that he brought to his people threatened an industry of polytheistic pilgrimage like to wreck his city. His life was under threat. And it was his wife and his closest relatives who gathered around him and gave him haven and built friendships around him to usher to his people a new community of justice, the Ummah, to change all of their lives out of lives of contention and competition into lives of equity and fellowship. Our stories from this season are stories impossible to believe. They're not meant to be believed. They're so impossible. And they are stories of how friendship help us through the stress and strain of life. We gather around each other like circles etched over time in the beauty of a shell to create a home, a sanctuary, a place of life and well-being so that we can thrive and when our time comes to disappear, to leave in this world a memory of our goodness. Today, all creation sings praise. All creation gay. All creation trans. All creation straight. All creation all gender. All creation black. All creation white. All creation mixed. All creation born. All creation unborn. All creation died. All creation two-legged, four-legged. How many legs does an ant have? All creation winged. All creation sings praise of the vitality of life. A vitality shaped by the stresses and strains of our lives and our constant pursuit just to find out, what do we do next? And the blessed gift we are given that our impossible stories tell us over and over and over again, stories not to be believed but lived. The story my daughter told me is that you are not alone. You have a friend. And many more friends ready to help each other bring to this world the vitality, the life, the love, the goodness that we delight to see. Happy spring.
If you would stand as you're willing and able, we're actually going to go back and do number 29, Joyful, Joyful.
There is a constant pressure, a holy greening power. We call it Viriditas, and it is the driving force in the cosmos. Life, you see.
Life is hard. Stress and strain and worry, what do I do next? But all creation sings praise today. And our stanza in that hymn is to befriend each other, to find the way.
We have spent